bringing you the latest news from Lubbock High Athletics. This is the Westerner Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Good Wednesday evening. Welcome into the High School Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and on Fox News Now if you're watching on TV. I'm Randy Rosetta. We do this a couple times a week after Thanksgiving, 6 to 7:30 p.m. Mondays, 6 to 7:30 p.m. Wednesdays. We're on Wednesday night, so that means the lineup tonight is Lubbock High, Coronado, Friendship, and Lubbock Cooper. Mondays are Estacado, Monterey, Memorial, and Liberty. I had to make sure in my mind I got those straight. So we get all 8 public high schools in Lubbock taken care of. It's weird to say, even 2 years later, it's weird to say. One of our guests has been around Lubbock for a while. I'm going to ask him if he thinks it's weird to say there's now 8 public schools in Lubbock. We're going to jump into the Westerner Fan Zone. I'm going to veer off a little bit here. We've talked a lot of basketball this week because we're right in the heart of basketball season, but we're also in the heart of wrestling season. And one of the best programs, not just in Lubbock, but in, I will say, the entire state, not just West Texas, but in Texas, is Lubbock High. And we've got assistant or associate, what's your official title, Bruce?
Assistant coach, yes, sir.
Assistant coach Bruce Casias. We're talking a little bit about his background in a minute here. I'm going to have him introduce his two wrestlers here that he brought with him.
Okay, first we got our 132-pounder senior A.J. Ramos, and we have our other senior, 165-pound Lucas White.
AJ and Lucas, welcome. Lucas, right?
Yes, sir.
I want to make sure I get the names right here. I don't want to get in trouble with any moms or any grandmas. I try to avoid that at all costs. I'm glad that these guys, I reached out to Richard Leal, the head coach, about coming on this week because you guys and Lubbock Cooper are headed to the THSWCA state duels. I was talking to you guys out there a little bit. This is the second year it's in Wichita Falls. A little bit unique situation because Wichita Falls does not have high school wrestling yet. They start it next year.
Correct.
But Bruce, what is this event? Why is this a big event? I know Richard was telling me he's excited about you guys going. What about this event kind of moves the needle for you guys?
I think it's just the level of competition. You know, when you wrestle, you want to wrestle the best. You want that. You want to gauge of where you're at, your program's at. And this tournament is definitely going to do it. It's a duels tournament, which is we don't have a lot of duels tournament. Our full lineup versus another team's full lineup.
Explain that. I'm looking at the bracket here. This is like an NCAA tournament, basketball tournament.
And that's kind of what's unique about it, right? Typically, a wrestling bracket is you have individuals, and so this is set up, exactly like you said, a basketball bracket, but team-wise, boys wrestling, girls wrestling. And you get seated, and you win your full lineup, your duel. You move on, to the winner side. So it's pretty. The setup is typically different from what we see. I think that's the really cool thing about this state tournament.
I'm looking at this. If I'm looking at this right, you're taking boys and girls.
Correct.
Lubbock Cooper looks like it's only their girls going.
Yep.
Okay, so you could see that. Let me see. I know how to look at a bracket. So you guys are actually on the upside. There's a possibility that you could see them, and I guess they'd have to be in the finals.
Yeah. You could, keep winning, go all the way, and they'd be, we'd see them. If both teams made it all the way.
So guys, Coach talked about the uniqueness of this. AJ, hop on there. When you go into a tournament like this, how do you approach it any differently, or are you just going to go out there and do your thing?
I just go out. I try to stay out of my head. Just wrestle like any other match. I mean, it's a big one, but just wrestle like any other match. I can't let the lights and everything get to me. So just approach it the same.
So in a normal meet, it's been a while since I've been to a meet. When you're looking at a bracket, you start to look at who you might wrestle here. This is a little bit different. You just have to go out and take care of business there to make sure the team takes care of business.
Yes, sir. Whenever it's a normal tournament, it's kind of just you out there. You feel like you're almost kind of fighting on your own, win or lose. This one, I feel there's a lot more on your shoulders. So if you win, you're winning for your team. If you're losing, you're really losing for your team. So you just got to go out there, leave it all on the mat and fight.
And I know from typing in results what I should know. How many weight classes for boys, how many weight classes for girls, ideally, if you're filling them all out?
We got 14, right, for the boys. And girls, 12.
Okay.
There we go.
So that's 26 spots that you guys are like rooting. You're rooting for teammates anyway all the time, but now it's a little bit different rooting interest because you want to move on. Now, I assume if you get beat in one of these rounds, you don't pack up and go home.
No, it's like a double elimination. You move over to the other side of the bracket and kind of work your way, wrestling your way to third place. Yeah.
So you said that there's not many of these. Do you have a guess on how many out in this part of the state? How many chances you have to go to an event like this?
This is the biggest one. I'm trying to think. There's you guys can think of another where we've gone. I feel like
we did one where it was a battle of the border. So we brought 4 Texas teams. We wrestled against New Mexico. We wrestled 4 teams from New Mexico, and that went pretty well for us. We won all 4 of our duels. But this one is like state. So this is like if you get first, you're like the state championship. Like you're the state champs of Texas.
This is and the popular thing in the NBA right now is the middle of the season tournament, and they're talking about doing one in big league baseball. It's a little bit different. Gives young people something a little bit different way of approaching things.
Yeah, and I think I think it's for all the guys, the boys and the girls side. Like you're going to wrestle some of the kids that you may see at state.
Right.
And this is going to be a good barometer as far as like, hey, how do I stack up with these guys, the competition, and kind of use that to kind of push you to the big tournament when we get to UIL State.
So this is the K. Yeager Coliseum, which we were also talking about out there. It used to be the site of the 5A regional basketball tournaments for a few years, so I got very familiar with it, going up with Lubbock Cooper, going up with, I guess you would have been at Lubbock Cooper one of those years when Kyle Lovern took them there.
Yes, sir.
And Monterey's been there several years. I hope for you guys' case that it's a better wrestling venue than basketball. I was telling Lucas, I got cold. It's March, and you're sitting there shivering, and you're like, what's going on? And then somebody explained there's still ice underneath from when it was a hockey arena. It's a traditional old barn, basically. Yeah. But now that I think about it, I visualize it, it's good for something like this because there's a lot of space.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's as soon as you walk in, it's like you said, it's big. Mat, that's for wrestlers, that's always like, it's a good thing. It's an exciting thing when you see mat after mat after mat, and you're like, okay, this is big time here. But I know exactly what you're talking about. There's a tournament in Amarillo, the same thing.
Yep.
They've got ice underneath it, and when you're wrestling, it gets very cold in there. So, you do your best to stay warm.
It didn't go so well for Monterey the 2 times I was there. It did go well for Lubbock Cooper. So we're coming up on a break. We got one more segment to talk about Lubbock High wrestling when we come back in the Westerner Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.
Diving headfirst into Lubbock High athletics. You're listening to the Westerner Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Welcome back in. Sounds like we're at a fire alarm out here. I'm Randy Rosetta, this 100.7 The Score. We are in the Westerner Fan Zone talking about, I'm going to say this slow because I'm afraid I'll stumble on it again, talking about the Westerners headed this weekend to Wichita Falls for the THSWCA State Duels, which is a unique event. I had looked at it earlier, and I thought I was looking at it wrong, to be honest. When I first looked, I was like, what? This looks like rankings or something like that, but it is actually a tournament bracket, which is, I think that'd be fun just to go and watch. And kind of, let me backtrack. Do you guys get a strong following at these? Or are there a lot of parents, a lot of fans that follow you guys? Or is this event kind of one that can get them there more?
Really for us, we have a lot of good parents that especially our booster program. They, especially on the girls' side, they follow us everywhere we go. So when it's kind of farther, there is a little less, but it is fun, like seeing all the parents. And then especially when we go and do good at these tournaments, it makes a lot of parents more like want to come see us win and go see us go out there and battle.
So Lucas knows this from when he was on here before. I've got a daughter who's senior to Lubbock High, so I'm a little bit partial.
Yeah.
Because and it's a lot of things, a lot of history, tradition. Bruce, you're a graduate.
Yes, sir. Juan
Rodriguez has brought a lot of that kind of to the table with how he's stirred up interest. Yeah. But going to Lubbock High events, it's very unique. Jose Perez has talked about that being back.
Yeah.
I went to his first home game, and he was emotional looking around and seeing all the people there. Yeah. You said you're 93 graduate?
Yes, sir. 93.
How unique is Lubbock High? I'll give you an older guy. You guys are going through it right now, but you're a Lubbock High guy who went back.
Right. for me personally, it's like the greatest thing. I went there, my kids went there, I wrestled, my son wrestled, and it's just every single day as a staff member, as a coach, just walking through the halls, it brings it's nostalgic, it brings so much memories. My son did really well wrestling. He's got, like a shadow box, in the trophy case area for him. And I always tell everybody that's the highlight of my day, walking past that every single day.
It should be.
Yeah, going to class, coming out. But it's just a special, special place. I don't know if there's many places here in Lubbock that's like Lubbock High.
No,
even walking past, seeing the Buddy Holly shadow
Holly
box.
and E.J. Hollow.
Yeah.
I tell my daughter all the time, I said, do you need to know who Buddy Holly and who E.J. Hollow are? For you two, I want to say this as politely as I can. It's hard for Lubbock High to be great in athletics for good reasons. And I don't mean that in a negative term. There's a lot of great academic kids there, and sometimes it's a little bit hard. Why is wrestling so good? You guys are part of a program that's as good as there is at Lubbock High. Why? I think you guys swimming and tennis. Why? What about you guys' personality at Lubbock High makes your program so strong?
First, I want to thank it's our coach. From middle school, we kind of see how Lubbock High, like always, me in middle school, I always seen Lubbock High as, whoa, like they're the best, like they're good. They have a lot of good kids that come from the club, like Results and Hub City.
Mm-hmm.
They'll all go to Lubbock High, and they do it for as long as they can walk. And just seeing Liao come down and kind of help us and be there for us as a Lubbock High coach, it kind of pushes you to go to Lubbock High. And he's an outstanding coach and he just helps you get better.
Because the other part of that is you guys have there's no it's not negotiable. You're going to study and you're going to have to work hard on that side of it. How much do you have to balance that, being a high level athlete with the stuff that's expected of you? And now all the schools in town have great academics, don't get me wrong, but I know from firsthand experience, you guys, the demands are high.
Yes, sir. And like our coach always says, student athlete, student comes first.
Yep.
So, you're expected to be a student first and be in classroom, sit in the front. He always tells us before school starts and as it's going, sit in the front of the class. Stay off your phones, no sleeping. Like there's like a bar that the wrestlers have in the wrestling room, and it's the exact same bar. It's just as high as in the wrestling room as it is in the classroom. So we want to have expectations that are higher than not all the other kids, but as a wrestler, you want to hold yourself to a higher standard in the wrestling room and in the classroom.
And Juanrod and I have talked about this. He wants that wrestling program to help football. He wants football to help wrestling. And Bruce, you went there. Lubbock High's tradition is great in football. There hasn't always had the great results, but how cool would it be if this program could kind of elevate football now?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. They kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, absolutely.
With both sports, and I think as coaches, we help coach. The football team. I helped coach Liao, coach a freshman team. The first day they come in. For me personally, the first day I come in, I see a good kid that he's hardworking. I'm like, do you wrestle? That's the first thing I ask. Do you wrestle? Have you wrestled? No. You know what? You should try it. And I think, and I think that's just the thing, that wrestling is a tough sport, and you want to try and get kids that are hard workers, because it is going to be hard work to get good, and those are the kind of guys or kids that you try to find and kind of draw them in by talking to them about the sport, and just trying to get those kids into the program.
And Bruce said this a minute ago. Nobody's better at wrestling in Lubbock, Texas than Lubbock High. That wraps us up. We'll have these guys on again because wrestling's a long season. We'll come back after this break in the Mustang Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.